Yes, it is acceptable to run Coax and Cat5e together in a 3/4-inch conduit. When determining if it is acceptable to run Coax and Cat5e cables together in a conduit, there are several important factors to consider. Firstly, we will discuss conduit fill. The amount of conduit fill is typically limited to 40% of the cross-sectional area of the conduit. For a 3/4-inch conduit with an inner diameter of 0.824 inches, the maximum cross-sectional area for cables is approximately 0.53 square inches. It is important to calculate the total cross-sectional area of the cables you plan to run and ensure that it does not exceed this limit. Secondly, we will discuss heat dissipation. Cables generate heat when they carry electrical signals. Running multiple cables in a conduit can increase the temperature inside the conduit. Coax cables and Cat5e cables do not typically generate significant heat, but it's a good practice to allow for some space between them for air circulation. Ensuring adequate air circulation can prevent overheating and potential damage to the cables. Thirdly, we will talk about signal interference. Coax cables transmit analog signals while Cat5e cables transmit digital signals. There is no known interference between these two types of signals when running them in the same conduit. However, it is always a good idea to maintain separation where possible to minimize any potential issues. In addition to these considerations, it is helpful to keep some best practices in mind. 1. Use a conduit with a fill of less than 40%. This ensures that the cables are not tightly packed, allowing for better heat dissipation and easier installation. 2. Allow some space between the cables for heat dissipation. Even though Coax and Cat5e cables do not generate significant heat, providing some space between them can help prevent any potential issues. 3. Avoid running power cables such as ROMICs in the same conduit as data cables, as this can cause electromagnetic interference. Power cables can induce noise into data cables, which can degrade signal quality and performance. Based on the above considerations, you can safely run Coax and Cat5e cables together in a 3/4-inch conduit for your detached edition. However, it's always advisable to follow best practices and keep the cables separated for optimal performance. By following these guidelines, you can ensure a reliable and efficient network setup for your detached edition.